Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. I have actually contemplated a lot for this particular video, if I should do it or not. But then I told myself that it's uh it's probably a good idea to actually just have a very simple video that is not intimidating and easy to follow. Okay, so we're gonna make a very simple assist hook, and we're just gonna make one pair. Okay, just so you guys would know and are aware of how it's done, have like a very easy step-by-step guide. Okay, and the method that we're going to be using is proven not by me, but this is the same style as Shimano. Okay, so we're going to do that today, and we're going to be doing it as close as possible as how they're doing it now. If it's good enough for Shimano, I have a feeling that it'll be good enough for you. Okay, now there are a few things that you need before we start. Okay, you need a lighter. Okay, for consistency I use a caliper, and this could serve as your ruler, but you could also have separate ruler, your choice. Okay, split ring, solid ring, obviously that's already something. Now, as far as a solid ring is concerned, what you need to do is to get the jig that you're using or you're building the assist for. And then, this is just an example. We take the solid ring and then we measure the size against the eye. And if it matches, that's the size of your solid ring. Very straightforward. Okay? So for me, what I will be using, actually, I need to find. Now, we have size 30 hooks. I'm not building for a particular any particular jig. Okay, so I'm just free balling this. You'll need a pair of pliers. Okay, so that's the solid ring that I choose to use right there. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside for now. Obviously, you will need your cord. Now, the cord is kind of flexible. Okay, so when you buy a cord, it could have an insert like so. Okay, so as you can see, there's that insert right there, and this is a PE insert. Now we're gonna take this off and we're gonna put fluorocarbon inside. Okay, and that's what we're gonna use it. That's what we're gonna use this with. Now, you take your caliper and then you measure the hook, and this one is about 2 centimeters, and we take our 2 millimeters, and this cord is about 1 millimeter. So how I do things is I usually have the cord half the diameter of the wire, and I measure the wire in its thickest part, which is just behind the eye. Now we're using spade head hooks also, and we'll talk more about that later. We'll talk about the cord first. Okay, so the cord is half the diameter of the hook and measured at at the back of the eye or the spade head. And the reason why we're doing that, by the way, is because most of the time, the shank here, the bend, all the way to the tip, it's actually forged. So um, good slow jigging hooks are actually forged. It's kind of, they're stamped or hammered. And this section right here isn't round. It's actually flattened on both sides. It makes it stronger. So near the shank here, or near the back of the eye, it's round. And that's where we measure the diameter of the wire. And this is ideally half to about 75% or three-quarters of the three-quarters maximum of the size of the wire. And it's my system. Okay, I just came up with that just so that it's consistent from hook to hook to hook. But you'll find that as far as the breaking strains of these, it's actually pretty consistent as how the big companies are doing it. Now, for the back hook, or the hook that you put on the rear of the jig, you can use this as is. But for the front, or the top hook, which is up here, and this is what we're building today because it's a bit more complex, or there's extra steps in doing it. So we are going to be using this cord. We're going to take the insert off, and we are putting fluorocarbon inside. Okay, to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to pull or take about 15, 16, 17, 18 centimeters. 18 centimeters. That's more than enough for this particular one. But what needs to be done most of the time is you take your jig, you put this in the eye. I actually explain it in a lot of the videos, and then just take half of, kind of where you want the hook to sit. But for this particular one, we standardize everything. I am taking 18 centimeters off. This will actually fit quite a lot of jigs. Okay, so 18. Then we take the insert off. And what we're gonna do is we're taking this is 15-pound fluorocarbon. We're taking the fluorocarbon and we're inserting it. What we're gonna do is just pushing it up until it goes out to the end, right? That like that. Now you can see that the fluorocarbon length is actually long enough. What you need to do then is take your nail like so, hold. I usually do the turn like that, and then I will stretch this, and believe it or not, that actually lengthens this. Okay, so it basically collapses the braid, and you'll get a bit of length on there. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put square knots at the very end. Very, very important. Okay, now the method that we're using is actually proven, tried, and tested by Shimano. So this is kind of like how Shimano does things. And I found it to be very easy. And for a lot of people, it is actually something that they can have a lot of confidence in. Okay, so like that. Tighten this as much as possible. Now, what I found is if I, let me get my, now I have flat nose pliers, and these are kind of very important for me. So they grip really well. Okay, so what I do is just hold this and then pull tight, and that actually makes it compact, very, very compact. Now when that is done, all you do is actually snip the end. For now, we will leave this. Now we'll deal with this other end. We do the same thing, square knot. Try to put it at the very end as much as possible. That, so as you can see there, cut off the excess. Okay. Now what I will do is I will grip the very end like so, turn, and then just pull this as tight as I can. And it's going to make this, again, make this knot very compact. I can see that it's still not compact enough, so I will use another set of pliers here. Then I will pull this until it is as tight as possible. Crucial that you do that. Okay, so that is compacted, and then we just cut. Now you have the lighter. As you could have probably seen, I wrapped it around. Now here's a trick. You know, you could just heat it up a bit and then straighten it. All right, so lighter, burn the ends. Okay, and then bang, just like that. Okay, same thing here. You don't want it to be too long, so you can cut it. I'm gonna use a knife actually. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this as a cutting block. Okay, so here, burn. Okay, and then see there, just like that. And you'll end up with a very clean section. Okay, now I'm gonna bring my vise in, and I will take you guys in. Okay. Okay, so there's the hook. Now, I also need to change my glasses. There we go. Make sure that that's super focused. Okay, so when you're tying assist hooks, always remember this. If it's a spade head, your tie is here. There's a very good reason for that. When you're pulling, the origin of pull is where the where the point of the hook is going to. If you tie it at the back, when you pull it, this actually doesn't follow. Okay, so its origin of the pull will be here, and the line that it goes to is going to be, well, it's not gonna go straight like that. It's actually gonna kind of point up. Now, hooks have the tendency to actually ride like this because this is the heavy part. So this kind of counteracts it. So when you're pulling, it goes to the straight, to the line of pull, or the origin of the pull, which is right here. Now remember, you have a solid ring here, and wherever that's pulling, okay, could it be like that? When you pull it, it goes like this. Now, if it's here and it pulls, it's gonna go way over, and it's still gonna hook fish, but it's not going to be as effective because the angle will be off. Okay. Now, when you're tying, always make a base of the thread so things don't slip. Okay. A lot of people are always asking me what I use to tie with. So I'm going to refer them to this video from now on. This is fishing braid. And I always answer with the same thing. It starts at PE 0.04. And you can go lower if you have the capacity to buy lower. But what this is for me is line from my ultralight fishing rods that I don't use anymore. I recycle them as this, so waste. Okay, when you're tying this, uh, take note of the point because that is literally where you stop. Okay, you stop there, and this is where you put this braid or the cord. Okay, so right there. Okay, and make sure to secure it. The the bed that you make with the thread on the bottom there actually helps the cord from slipping, so it's not going to move. Okay, so now you could see that I actually spiraled out and then I spiraled in again, and this is to just keep this in check. Okay, now I'm going to do wraps, and these are touching wraps. There we go. And these are very tight. As you can see, the color is changing, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on here, and this already has a drag, so each and every single time I turn, it's actually going on tight. That's secure, but if it makes you feel any better, go ahead and spiral back and then tighten up again. Again, very, very tight wraps. These are all touching wraps. Try not to make this super big, okay? It's very important. You don't want drag. There we go. Now, at the very end, you could choose to do your half hitches. I prefer a whip finish. Okay. There we go. Now, I'll do two. Always a good idea. Okay. Fold tight. And then cut the excess. So, just like that. Okay. So you can see that is super clean. Very slim. Very, very important. Okay, now we do the second one. Before I actually secure this, I do something with this end right here. Now, there are a lot of methods to secure this, and for me, in my experience and my dumbass, I have been impaled by this hook so many times. So, I use a masking tape and do this. It's cheap, it's fast, it's easy, it's safe, just like that. And see, I don't get hooked. Now these suckers are very sharp, so be very, very careful. Okay, now again, we will do wraps. Now this is already quite tight, I have to tell you. Okay, and okay, I'm not gonna hold this. See exactly how tight it is. Okay, watch. You see how this thing is moving? Okay, that's how tight it is. And then if I don't hold this, this actually kind of turns down, you know, so it is tight. It's wound tight. Again, you wrap until you reach the same level as that tip. Cut this, then install it right there. Okay, so a wrap like that, a loose wrap. Okay, just so it sits there like that, and then forward spiral wraps like so. That holds that in. Okay, and then you wrap back like so, right there. Okay, and that is basically it. Now, to make things easy for you, what you need to do is also kind of tape this. Okay, so I just take a piece of tape. This is just me when I do these things. It's see, I fold it, take this, fold it as well, and then I tape it there. It just makes things easier, you know, and then you could just let this hang. Now, a lot of people, if they're tying with eyed hooks, they could just stick it in there. Now, basically, you don't have to move around, you know, with a long piece of thread. It's easier if you just tape it. Okay, now you can begin your wraps forward. Okay, very, very tight wraps. touching wraps, so there are no gaps. Okay, hold it here because this thing's moving. Okay, now we go back. Spiral. All the way back here. And then, again, everything is super tight. Okay, cover the whole thing again. There we go. Now, you could do your half hitches or do a whip finish, which I'm doing here. Again, look at that. Because this is short, it's easy. I usually 2 sets of 5s. There we go. Then you just hold this. Okay. Hold this. And then pull as tight as you can. You can see that the color has changed. That means it's super tight. Okay. So again, 5, 1. So this is kind of a habit I have from fly fishing. Okay, watch this side right here. Okay, that side. See the light colored one. Okay, so you pull. Okay, that happens. Good that happened. Okay, if that happens, don't panic. See, so that's cut. But remember, we have a whip finish down there. So just cut that. Now, because I really want 2 there, I will wrap a few times. Still very, very tension. Okay, cut. And then do it again. Don't panic. It's actually good that that happened so I could show you guys. Okay, so again. Okay, there's 5. That it happens from time to time, you know, ultralight braid and all. So just pull and then bang. That's it. That's tight. Then cut. And we're almost there. Okay, now you could put super glue on this and that's it. Let it dry. And but even without super glue, this is already pretty good. That's why I put 2 whip nuts there. Okay, now you could do 2 things really. Okay, so you could use 2 sets of pliers for this. Okay, to tighten. So what you do is just go like this and then tighten. Okay, now I'm gonna take this off so that you guys can see. Now I didn't have this ability before with the I didn't, hold on. Alrighty, so with the camera I had before, with the setup I had before, I wasn't able to do this or couldn't do it because it just was kind of just a hassle. But now I can, which is why I'm loving this. Okay, so I made this. This is actually instructions on how to do this in the channel. But this basically makes your assist hook consistent from one to the other, but you could just use a pair of pliers. Or there's also some guys in the internet that made something like this on their own, you know. But I'll link to the video of how I did this. I used a lathe, and you could hire someone to lathe this for you, or um, you can get an idea. Okay, now what this is I can make, like, take for example offsets, okay, like that. And each and every single time I make an offset, it's always going to be the same size or the same length that drops and everything. Or I could just put it all together like this, okay, and it's that. Okay, so let me just recap there. Or it could be just like that, or screwdriver could do this, you know. But the most important thing is you're able to actually put this equally so that they're both the same length. Okay, so that, we'll use this, that, put this there. Okay, now you take this and then you put it over just like that. Okay, now you put it to one side, take this and then twist it. Okay, you twist it like that and then put that over. And then you have to ensure that when you do that, you're taking it all the way back here. Okay, so twist, this thing's fighting me. Okay, so there, have to take the wrap all the way back here, as you can see there. Now you know you've done it right if you see an X. You see that here, this side, there's an X. Okay, now I'm going to show you here. Okay. Turn this like that, put it here. Okay, now you slowly tighten. You can see there. Okay, it's like that. You tighten. You could use a screwdriver actually for this as well. Okay, see there, and then just pull as hard as you can. Okay, and you'll find that that is secured right there. Okay, now it's time to just adjust this. You'll find that sometimes they become kind of unruly, but if you've done it perfectly, it's just like that. Okay, now you can put wraps here, which we will. This is another reason why you have this. Now I am going to put this back on auto because it's kind of dangerous, so I'm gonna face this way. Okay, now take this, wrap it around a few times to secure it. Okay, and I put this on here so things won't fly. Okay, now ideally you'll have a hook to hold this, but since we don't have that, we'll use a pair of pliers just like that. Okay, then what you want is for your bobbin to actually be very tight. So you start from this side, this end, and then you're going towards the hook end. and it has to be really tight. I'll show you how tight it is. You'll you'll see that the color is actually different. Okay, now see, you can see there. Uh, okay, so the color there, it's transparent. That's very tight. Now, since I'm already from like at that side at the end, and this is short length, don't make it too long. Now I'm going back to the knot. There we go. Now I'm going to secure this with a half hitches, or as always, my whip finish. Okay, right there. Okay, for this I usually just bite it like that, pull, and then that's it. Time to cut the excess, and this is where for me the knife performs best, because I can cut it close just like that. And this one, okay, just like that. Now there's a little bit of an tag end right there. I'm just gonna take my lighter and just touch it like that. There's a little bit there as well. Bang, and just like that, I have assist hooks. Then it's just a matter of actually kind of adjusting. And then there you go. This didn't take long actually. You know, they're very easy to tie, and as you can see, um, these are kind of longer than the normal 3/0s that you get. So this is perfect for long jigs. Instead of actually having a really big hook, you can use smaller hooks for slim jigs, because they're narrow. You don't have to use a big hook. You don't have to have a super big hook that would snag. This is actually a bit more snag proof, and as you can see there, it's clean. And trust me, this is very strong. Shimano does the same thing. You can Google the Oshia jigger assist hooks, and you'll find that these are made the same way with the knot right there. Okay, so all right, so as you can see, it's not as difficult and it's not as intimidating as it looks like. And even with spade heads, especially with spade heads, and I know a lot of people are kind of freaked out with the spade heads and all. If you actually do this method, not only would it be easy, but it is also very, very effective. And just a few pointers, like take for example, you know, the wraps that you make are always going to be tight. And if you're not sure with your wraps, guess what? Standard practice for this is to seal it up with super glue or epoxy anyway. So you'll come out with something that's really strong, and it's not, you know, it's not very complicated to type. Like the basic one like this only takes minutes. You just have to be kind of careful with the points of the hooks, and of course your wraps, so that they don't come apart when the fish, especially when the big one comes. Now what happens with this is that the knots will provide insurance, and it's going to literally jam up on those wraps. That's why those wraps need to touch each other, and they have to be very, very tight, so that that knot actually doesn't slide around. I've caught some really good fish using this method, so I'm all but happy. I'm very happy to actually share this, and it's a very easy method. Not the first time that I've shown this in the channel. but certainly this is something that we're doing right now with the camera that we have, and I'm happy with what I'm seeing. So anyway, that is it. Now, if you learned from this video, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. It's very important that we actually share this video to friends, families, fishing buddies, and all that want to get into this. Um, Now I have to say, okay, girls actually tie this better than guys. Just because women uh, have the patience of doing something so repetitive, but for me, it's kind of very therapeutic. So there are guys, that are just as strange as I am out there, and I'm pretty sure that they'll be comfortable tying this out. Down the line, what we're gonna do is I'm going to also break down step by step offsets. Okay, so and we'll talk about that. That's kind of a bit more advanced. But yeah, I mean, again, front hooks. If you want to do the same for your back hooks, that's fine. But for the back hooks, there's no need for the fluorocarbon insert. And also, as a guideline, remember that standard for fluorocarbon inserts would be like 10 to 15, but I've used up to 30. Now, what I found is that obviously, as the hook size goes up, you'll need a bit more stiffer fluorocarbon inserts. Also, as far as inserts are concerned, you could also use wire, and very thin wire. There's very specialized wire that you could use for this. Otherwise, it kinks. So specialized wire can be put inside, and there are assist cords that are sold with wire inside. So just take note. And for those, you can actually get away with really thin sizes. So it's a bit more stealthy. Okay. As far as color is concerned, it doesn't really matter. For me, I color code mine. So the top hook would always be, let's say, blue, and then the back hook would be red, would be black. It depends, but I know that the top hook would be blue. Okay, so it's up to you. You want the top hook to be white, and then all your back hooks to be red. That's up to you. That is it for this video. Once again, I would like to thank all the members for supporting the channel. And if you want to support the channel as well, go ahead and click that membership button. There's two choices. Okay, so for one level and then another, depends on how much you want to support this channel going forward. Okay, but that is it for this video. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Class of Mist.